Hi, Callie here with KeeperOS, and on this video, we're going to do a walkthrough of the BreederOS functionality inside of the KeeperOS tool. So let's go ahead and get started. So in the previous video related to KeeperOS, I go over my room, my animals, your care guide, brumation, the Keeper Insights, and the import capability. So in this one, I'm going to go over the BreederOS functionality. So let's go ahead and get started on your dashboard. And so this is giving you a real quick look at what is going on with your racks. You're able to click here and go to a feeding grid, and I'll show those a little later when we actually get into the individual clutches. It's able to let you know what you still need to feed today. So I have already fed all of my snakes, but I do need to feed the geckos tonight. And it lets you know what's upcoming, what your workflow is for today, and it also starts tracking your sales pipeline. So let's go ahead and go into settings so that you can see where some of these drivers are coming from. So of course you can pick your name and your time zone. And down here, you're also able to pick your sales readiness. So how many feedings do you want each of your babies to have before they're ready to go to their new homes? You may track it by feeding or eating. It could be by unscented meals. So we try to give some different functionality and different options here. Minimum weight, minimum age, any of those that you fill out will become criteria for showing when you have a baby that's almost ready or ready. And any of those that you don't fill out will be ignored. Same thing here for clutch performance. This is how you also are counting when it is considered to be established. That may be the same as you have for here for ready. It may be something different. For the feeding flags here, this is how you're able to choose how many refusals in a row are considered to be a problem feeder for you. Default is 2. I'm going to go ahead and change mine to 3. In here, for the same size number of meals before suggesting that they size up, this is for all those babies, anything that you're tracking. You can just leave it, or you can do whatever number that you want to put into here. So I'm going to go ahead and actually do maybe 10 is probably better for my hog nose. Now down here, you can customize your feeder sizes. So you can pick which type of feeder it is. So I'm changing the sizes of my rodents, but you also would be able to change the size for your bugs or insects, prepared diets, or other feeders. And you can also import from here, as well as import from the import button at the top. And we also have our support team here. If you have any questions at all, we love your feedback and we'd love to be able to help you out. So now let's go ahead and jump into my projects. So these are the projects that I am working on right now. So you're able to see which ones are active, which ones are complete. I don't have any currently in progress, but you could have some marked in progress. And then you can also look through your different seasons here as well. So for my geckos, I do annual season, so I have 2026. But for my hognose, I take a quarter of my girls through brumation every quarter, and so they're tracked by quarter. So you have flexibility here as well. You're able to name these however you want to name your projects, and then that carries in when you start creating your clutches. And you're able to quickly track and see how each of them are doing. There's also a list view here. And when you're in the list view, you're able to customize which columns you do or don't want to see, and you can sort by any of those as well. So I can quickly sort by season if that's how I want to track it. And you're able to see all of the projects that you have that you're working on. When you're inside of any one of these, let's go ahead and just pick one here. You're able to see how they've been doing, all of the clutches that are associated with them, and any information about those individual clutches are in there too. So let's go ahead then and dive into clutches. So in here, this is where you are able to track all of the clutches that you have from the time that they're laid and going into incubating, through hatching, through them being placed into their enclosures, and through selling them or choosing which ones are your holdbacks. So I'm able to import these also from Excel just to bring things in easy, or CSV. And then I can also create new clutches here also. These are also all available in that tile view if you like it that way, or you can switch it over and you can see it in a list view also, and you can customize your columns as well. So if we click that we have a new clutch, you're able to name that clutch, whatever you want to, and then you can pick your breeding pair. So if I was to fill this one out, it's going to automatically fill out the names of the parents based on the breeding project. So it's quick to fill these out. You can name it however you want to. You're able to select which incubator that they're located in. If you have one, you can just name it whatever you want to, but you can have multiple. You're also able to track your candle status if that's something you want to do. That's optional. And you can also override the incubation period. You can put in any sorts of dates that you have, the eggs that were laid, the actual number of hatchlings that were hatched, and any other notes that you have. So I'm going to go ahead and open up one of these here. So these ones here have been placed. And so far, I have all of these babies listed here. I've started putting in some of their information. I haven't finished filling it out yet, but that's really quick and easy to do. You can go ahead and click on any of these, and you can fill out the sex and genetics of those babies. If you are tracking growth rates, you can put in weights, and it will also track your average growth and other information as well. So you can see the average of these babies. 9 of them have eaten. 1 of them still has not eaten, but they are on an average first day meal of 8.3. So now I'm going to go ahead and show that feeding grid as well. So this is what the feeding grid looks like, and this is just another way to look and track your feedings for your hatchlings as you're working on getting them established. So this is where you can see this one. I've already tagged him as a boy. I haven't tagged the other ones in the system yet. I like to check the gender twice before I confirm it to make sure that I'm not seeing something that's different. You're able to see that this one here has not fed and just refused its 4th meal. It's a stubborn little one. But most of the other ones have taken the ones that they have been offered. You're able to quickly see with some of these identifications that this was ate as a drop and how long ago it was 0 days because they ate today. So this is tracking from the latest or most recent feeding and then going back. So what you're able to see here is you can quickly identify if they ate it as it was offered or if there was something else added to it. So you can tag if it was a drop feed or any other type of feeding method that you have, and those each have their own different icons. So like this baby here, we can see that they actually ate 6 feedings from hand, and then today they chose not to. They only went for a drop feed. So that's good insight. This is kind of curious also, these 4, and then the most recent are drop feed. I actually have a few here that recently went for drop feed. Now, the difference with this one is that I did start tracking these later on in the app because the app was live around this time. So there's actually a very good chance that these were tracked as drop feeds. They're just not in the system that way. Because I did pick up the app, it did become live partway through this clutch being fed. But you are able to, after the last 4 feedings. But you are able to very quickly understand and see how each of your different clutches are doing based on the information you've put in. This one is fun too. This one has a lot of different colors because this clutch loves scented meals. And so you're able to see here too which ones are scented and which ones were not scented and what you scented them with. These 2 currently have a drop feed waiting with them, and so I will go back and check them here in about 30 minutes to see if they ate. Now going into your incubator here, this is where you can track and see who is in the incubator and what they've got going on. And these ones actually just recently did hatch. So I'm still waiting for them to finish coming out of the egg, and then I'll verify how many of them are coming out healthy. But I think all 10 of them look good so far. So this is where you would be able to go in here too, and then it just takes you back over to your clutch and you can put those in. So let's go ahead and do this one together because I do think all 10 of them do look good. So I'm going to go ahead and tag these 10 babies. So now I'm going to add hatchlings, and I'm going to note I had 10 babies. This part's pretty cool. I want to start with number 1. I want to use 2 digits. I don't want a default sex assigned. It is Western Hognose, and I'm going to give it my establishing baby care profile. So you're able to set those animal care profiles. You can manage them in one place, and then you can assign the same care profile across multiple animals. So that way you can just change it in one place, and it makes those adjustments everywhere. So now I'm going to create these 10 hatchlings. Okay, great. And there we are. And there are all 10 of them, and they have automatically had a code created for each one. Now I'm going to place them in the rack, and I already know where I'm going to put them, so I'm going to go ahead and place them in the rack now. These buttons actually do the same thing, so let's go ahead and click either one, and they're going to start out in my itty bitty baby rack. You are able to start them in the first empty tubs, which then just looks at the top of the rack and it starts filling them out based on the first available tubs that are in there. I do have some that are empty right now at the top, so I do not want to start that. I actually want to start them at a specific tub. So the row that they are at is row J, and it's going to be tub number 1. So I'm going to place those babies, and it's going to quickly fill them out and redirect me over here and show me where they got placed. So they are all now right here. So there's J1, and these are those 10 babies. They have now been added in here. I have the tag on there that they have never been fed, so they have not yet eaten. And then once I get going with it, then we will be able to start updating all of this information, and it will automatically go into the system. So you'll be able to see here, as this one has not fed, and I've tried 2 times, it gets an NF2. This one has been taking scented meals, so it's tagged to scented. The last meal that it had was a scented drop. The last 2 meals that this one has had were scented drops. This one ate scented on its last meal, but it was not a drop feed. So you're able to quickly start seeing in here what are all of the different notes and quick identifiers to understand where you're at with establishing each of your babies. I also can turn off tubs, so any tub that is empty, you can click it and block those out. So this row here is blocked out because those ones kind of stick. So I just don't like to use those. And the ones across the top and the bottom are blocked out because they don't get great temperature variant inside of this rack. I notice they sit a little bit colder at the top and bottom, so I just block those out. So I sure hope that I have some babies that can start moving into my bigger rack because I am really running out of some space in this one here. This was all known in advance. I knew this was going to happen as soon as this clutch here pipped out, and I don't have another clutch due for a month, so we should be good. Going into the next space here, I'm actually going to go ahead and open up a care profile for one of the babies. And so on any one of these, you're able to go down here and open their record. And it opens it over here if you're looking at it from this direction, and you're able to see all of the different information about it. You're also able to go into My Animals, and you can open them there as well, and you can see all the information about them from here too. So you are able to, from these screens, quickly log a current or past feeding. So this is the only place to go other than importing to log a past feeding. Of course, you can add a photo. I need to get better about that. You can pick where you want to move them. You can put them into brumation. You can add individual reminders and set when that's going to be. You get different insights here. So this baby took their first meal 6 days after hatching. The last weight that I logged was 8 grams, which was an initial weight. So now that they've eaten a few meals, I bet I could get another weight on there. They've already had 4 meals. And this one here is also part of the BreederOS, so you can transfer. So once you have the baby ready to go and they're going to go to their new home, you can choose to print a certificate with a QR code on it. You can pick which items you want to have on it. Because I don't have a photo on there, I don't have that ability to check that one, but I can pick what I do or don't want to have on it. One of the great things about the system is by setting up these feeding plans, you are able to transfer that feeding plan over with your snake. So when the new owner receives their QR code, and I'll go ahead and show what that looks like. There it is. So they receive this and they are able to scan this code. If you do scan it off of the video, it doesn't matter because I'm going to regenerate a new one later. So have fun. But it will allow you to scan the code, and you don't just get the information and all of this loaded about it and all of its past feedings and weigh-ins, But it also transfers that care profile into the new owner. So that way they already know that they should change water this often, they need to weigh it this often, they need to feed this often, this is the size that it was feeding, or multiple feedings. So as you know, for the geckos, for example, they eat both the gecko diet as well as crickets for my kahua geckos. So it transfers all of that information over. So you get a little bit more comfort and confidence that your baby is going to be well taken care of with their new owner, because it just gives them all of that information. They're able to quickly scan this code, and it makes it super easy for you. When you're in your transfers, this is where you're able to see these different ones that were created and available. So this is where I'm going to cancel this baby. So that code won't work. But you're able to create these different ones. These were just tests while we were putting it together, so you can ignore those. The calendar functionality is also being built out. Right now, it is going to list out all of the things that you need to do, so you can quickly skim through there and you can see what you've done. And I do need to be checking on Nutmeg every day because she is post pre-lay shed. So that's one of the reminders that I've created. You also have different breeder insights here. I have, again, not put in a whole lot of weight information for my babies yet because I have a lot of new babies right now. But once you have 3 or more hatchlings with 3 or more weigh-ins, you're able to start seeing growth curves for your babies for your different clutches. This one here is also really fun. It tracks as they're each getting established, and you can see where you're at on that curve for each of your clutches. These ones are a little bit funny because these ones actually got imported in after the system was live. So they were hatched out previously, like early this year. So you can, a great way to get started in KeeperOS and BreederOS is to just start with your next clutch. You can, as you saw, you can go back and you can put in past feedings. So that's another great option as well. Any of those that I already had, I put in most of it up to 10 feedings for their past feedings as well. But you can load any of that information in. But just getting started on your next clutch is a really great way to get into the system as well. Also, you can compare here with your different clutches that you have. This one right here is fun. It's tagged it as my strongest. That's because they're also one of the oldest. But they did a really great job. And you can also kind of track across your different clutches how long on average it took for them to take their first meals for those of them that have already taken a meal. So it's not distorting it with those that haven't had a first meal yet. You're also able to see that you have some different rates here on hatching, and if you do hatch more than you had in eggs, we do have the ability to tag that there were twins in there. So we had one of those here hatch out a couple weeks ago. So that is everything that I have to show for BreederOS. Please let us know if you have any feedback or comments. We look forward to seeing you in the system and helping to support your next breeding projects.